Well, howdy folks, I'm up here. Yep, welcome to Mower Mike's. Whoa, what have we got here? Well, we almost had a workers' comp claim. I have got the biggest piece of equipment I've ever shoved in this little shop. It is an old Bandit 65 XP wood chipper. I bought it used off a rental yard. This thing has a lot of hours on it. It's probably 20 years old. She has been rode hard, put up wet. There's no telling what type of cinder blocks somebody's thrown in this thing. And what it's doing is it takes forever to start. But once it starts, this thing chips like a scalded dog. You throw anything in here. But it's just not getting the fuel to the old Vanguard engine. So what we're doing today, we're going to talk through how the pulse fuel pump works, which is the same concept pretty much on any two-cylinder engine you're running on a lawnmower or any piece of equipment like this. Talk about a couple things you can check, and then we're just going to scrap the whole crappy mechanical fuel pump with the pressure and all that crap, and we're going to throw on an electric fuel pump from the Amazon, feed some fuel to this thing at about 3, 4, 5 PSI, and just let it rip, because I think that's what this old girl needs. So first step we're going to do, we're just going to zoom around to the front of this old Vanguard. It's actually a really cool engine. Briggs & Stratton bought Vanguard a couple years back, but this one's definitely old enough that it is a legit Vanguard motor. Well, I was wrong. It's got a Briggs & Stratton sticker on it. So what's it doing? Let me see. You can crank this bitch forever. You can crank it, and eventually after like 45 seconds to a couple minutes, it may start if it creates enough vacuum to suck the fuel up in there. It's just not getting fuel to that carburetor. So let me go ahead and we're gonna zoom in and talk about how these old fuel pumps work. A couple things you can check, and then we're gonna bust out the electric fuel pump. So stay with me. All right, what you're looking at here is a beautiful shot of the Vanguard fuel pump. This fuel pump is run off vacuum. Now, all of your larger equipment engines that are carbureted will have a very similar fuel pump. They just may look different. For example, a lot of them are circular if you're looking at a Kohler or a Briggs, but this guy here is a square one. So they're all going to have 3 nipples on them. One nipple is going to go to the fuel tank. That's this guy here. You got a fuel filter over here. This nipple is going to the carburetor. But also, most of them are going to have a smaller one. That is a vacuum line. They call it a pulse line. What this does, it goes to some sort of vacuum source. Some of them go to valve covers. Some of them go to intakes. This one goes to an intake, and it draws a vacuum. So that vacuum gets sucked into the fuel pump, which creates a suction, which actually pumps fuel somehow or another. Now, the issue here is when you don't have a good vacuum in here, thus you can't really pump fuel until the engine creates enough vacuum through the carburetor. Eventually you light it off, but it really helps to have vacuum source going to your pulse fuel pump. So, first thing, of course, replace the fuel pump. That's usually the first thing to do, which is always a good step. But even before that, I highly suggest you check your vacuum line for any types of leaks. These vacuum lines are usually much smaller on the more modern engines. You see this guy's pretty big. So it helps to put a new vacuum line on there. Make sure you got a good vacuum source. And on this one in particular, if you look down, where is it pulling vacuum from? There it is. So that's where it's pulling vacuum from down there. What it is, it's got a little nipple that's running right off the intake. So what we're going to do is see if we are actually getting any vacuum at all off that nipple. So what I've got here is this pretty dang slick tool. This is a vacuum gauge, and typically what you can do, this is pulling vacuum. So when I put my finger on the tip, you can see, right? So we can hook this guy up and see if it's pulling any vacuum as we actually crank it. Now, in theory, this engine should be pulling 2 to 5 pounds of vacuum off of this while it is cranking, because any engine should have vacuum on the inside of it, on the intake, if you have good compression. But as you're going to find out soon, some of them don't have that good of vacuum. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in if we can, cameraman. There we go. So hopefully we get a little bit of vacuum on this dude. God, this engine is wore out, baby. So you see it didn't get off 0 at all. So we're definitely not getting any vacuum to the fuel pump. So one thing we're gonna check first, we're gonna go ahead and check the valves real quick, take a look at it, because a lot of times it could be the valve, especially that intake valve could be off. But if not, we're just gonna go ahead and bypass this whole thing and throw on an electric fuel pump, because to be honest with you, as these engines age, you're just gonna start losing compression in these cylinders, which means you're not gonna get much of a vacuum until it actually lights off, till things warm up, move around. When it's cold and creaky like this, you may not be pulling a vacuum. All right, next let's check out our new fuel pump. It's called the Engine Man. I got this off the Amazon. It was under 30 bucks. Now the key about this fuel pump is that this is a low pressure fuel pump. So you can see on there, we're running 3 to 6 PSI. Because it's carbureted, you don't want to run a regular fuel pump. So the regular fuel pump's gonna be 30 PSI plus for fuel injectors. This one's below 6 because you don't want too much fuel pressure going into a carbureted system. Because if you put too much fuel pressure into a carburetor, it'll end up blowing fuel past your float stop and it'll just be an absolute mess. So this should be just about perfect. Now the way it's set up, you just mount it. You mount it somewhere pretty close to the fuel tank, says within a feet. Also, it does come with a fuel filter. They said this is key. You want to screw that in there. Since I've already got an external fuel filter, we're not going to use that. The fuel connections now it comes with 5/16 on here. Now I'm running 1/4 inch fuel line, so what I've got is a couple barb connections that goes 5/16 to 1/4 inch. Some of you might be running 3/8, so you just might need some little adapters like I'm going to run. Now how do we hook it up electrically once we have the fuel going on? Once you get a fuel filter, it's got a female connector here, but also it's got a male connector. So what I'm going to do, we're going to find a key ignition switch. So when you turn the key on, a hot wire that we're going to splice this into, put this into ground. We're going to have this hooked up to the machine, and then we can just plug this bad boy in. So that's my theory. You can see we got lots of hose clamps, we got a few connectors, all sorts of good stuff. So let's go over back to the machine. All right, next we're going to figure out the very important topic of how do we wire this thing in kind of safely. So what I've got here, this is from the kit. So this is the female connector. Makes it really easy. We can ground this before we actually hook up the fuel pump. Now make sure you have a good ground on the black wire. You can see right here, I've got a good ground here to the frame of the wood chipper. Make sure you grind it down so there's no paint or anything. So we've got a little ground right there. And then next, the positive. So where is this going to get its power from? Now in the instructions, it says this thing pulls only up to 1.2 amps. Meaning, if it only pulls up to 1.2 amps, then we can actually run it off the ignition switch because it's such a low amp draw. If it was anything over 2 amps, you'd want to run a different relay with a trigger wire and all that. But since it's such a low amp, we can run it off one of these wires. Now, the key is we want to find a wire that is hot only when you turn on the ignition. That way, the fuel pump's not running all the time. So in order to do that, what we're gonna do, I've got my light tester, so we're gonna turn on the key. First, you're gonna have one that's hot all the time, and we don't want that one. So see, that one's hot all the time. Now we're gonna turn the key and find which one's hot only when the key's on. All right, let's flip it upside down. Looks like that one's it. So the lower left-hand nub right there, let's test it. So you turn it off, nothing. Turn it on, hot. All right, so now we know we're after this wire right here. Now, in order to get this wire, what I'm gonna use is a little tiny wire splice. So you can see right here, we should be able to clamp this thing down, and then the other side is set with the kit where it's got a little male spade. So all we do here, hopefully it doesn't cut the wire. We're just gonna clamp it on our gray wire, which is our hot wire. This one may be a little small for what I'm doing. Let's see if we can get her to close on there. All right, looks like we clamped it on there. And with this kit, and I'll put a link down below, in theory, we should be able to slide the male spade in there. And then let's go ahead and test it out. All right, it's off right now, so we should not have power, but off. And then when we turn the key on, look at that, we've got power. So now we've got a powered ignition source. So when I plug that in to our fuel pump, it should start pumping fuel. So this is actually getting pretty dang exciting right now. Another thing, I want to caution you, since we're replacing the mechanical fuel pump, remember that mechanical fuel pump ran off that vacuum line called the pulse line? We need to make sure to plug wherever that thing is pulling vacuum. So I've got that nipple down here on the intake. So I got this off Amazon. All it is just a little topper. So that way it's not gonna pull open vacuum while we're running, since we no longer have that fuel pump. All right, so next, let's have some fun. We're going to mount the fuel pump, plug it in, and see if we pump. All right, next we're gonna talk about mounting the fuel pump. You want it fairly close to the fuel tank. They say within a foot of the fuel tank. So you can see right here, I've mounted it right here to the frame. There is an arrow on which way the fuel flow should be going, so make sure to do that. One note, I was able to squeeze these 1/4-inch fuel lines on the 5/16 nub, so I didn't have to do that transition. And the kit itself, it's pretty cool. It comes with these little rubber grommets, so what you can do, I'm just using these little metal screws with the rubber washer already on there, and I drilled a couple of little screws, so just make sure it is through there like so. Slide it down, come on. Look at that, boy, this is so freaking cool. You're probably wondering, like, why didn't you mount it behind here where it would have more protection? Well, I'm doing it for YouTube, and this is gonna make a much better thumbnail having this thing hanging out front, but in reality, you probably want it on the back side. All right, time for the big test, see if she actually pumps. Now, before we turn this thing on, a couple of safety lessons. First of all, before you do any of this stuff, you want to unhook the negative battery terminal. That way you don't blow yourself up, which I did not do here. Also, pump instructions say run a 15 amp fuse to her to be safe, which I have not done here, but you guys are smarter than me and you'll do all the safety stuff. All right, let's go ahead and plug her in. All right, what do we got here? I got something. I got the Weiss Daisy Cottage Cheese. See if she'll pump some fuel in there. Again, this is not safe. You don't want to pump fuel with an open ignition source right here. So, at least if I catch on fire, it'll be on TV, right? All right, let's see what happens. Ignition. Uh-oh. Look at that. That is so freaking cool. You can see it bubbling up through the fuel pump. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, this thing's going to be awesome. Let me go and hook it up, and we're going to see if this dude lights up. Stay with me. All right, we got the old Bandit out here for the first start. Now, when you crank it over, you can actually feel it pumping, that low-speed pump. I've been looking in here. I don't see any fuel leaks, so I think we're good. Give her a little choke. Look at that. She's old. But I tell you what, with that new feed tube in her, she does pretty good. Well, folks, we're going to wrap this video up. I fixed the engine. It's running great. You know, it doesn't have the best compression in the world, but I tell you what, it runs great at full throttle. I was not able to start that before. Now, this old Bandit wood chipper has several more issues. For example, the hydraulics are not working for some reason, so that's a whole other problem. But the engine, we fixed that problem. We got a new battery in her. So with that, we're going to get back to some more fun engine videos. More mics out. We're going to figure this old wood chipper out. Catch you next time.